What does 90s hip-hop, female empowerment, photography, and painting have to do with each other? Find out today when we talk to Nichole Washington, a visual artist based out of here in New York City, on today's episode of Make It. Hello, Nichole. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm super. I'm so excited to be here with you in New York City. So thanks a lot for coming in and for being our guest on Make It.
Of course. I'm super honored to be here.
Can you tell me a little bit about what kind of work that you do?
Yeah, so I take portraits of women and I print them out and then I paint on top of the portraits. So yeah, and they're usually like very energetic. It's usually about female empowerment.
And how did you get into creating these multi-dimensional like combinations of paint and graphics and photography? What's your background?
I was always like sketching and painting when I was younger. And then I realized that I wanted to construct images. And so I started to take classes in photography and I did my master's in photography. And as I was going through my graduate program, I was trying to figure out, like, how do I put more of myself into my work? And my thesis advisor was actually a painter, and he was like, you know, all of your images are so, you know, perfect and clean and very digital, and I don't see enough of you in there. And so he suggested that I paint on my work. And so that's when I started to paint on top of my work, and it really all came together. All of my different interests and skills were seen on the image.
Let's take a look at some of these photos, because I think you brought some of these photos that you had from before that you were doing that.
So even with this image, you could see that I was still like, it was like I wanted to construct an image because I'm taking the photo out of its natural setting and putting it onto this graphic background, but it's still, I felt like it wasn't saying enough and I didn't see myself in it. Mm-hmm. And so I felt like I had to take it a bit further. So this was like the beginning stages of what I was doing. Right.
And I think that's really interesting. Like the assertiveness of the poses that you have of all of your models is just really, really like, it's kind of a little bit confrontational, but also really, really, like you said, super confident. And it's really, really fun to look at those photos and see your images and just feel that like sense of empowerment, I think is what I get out of them when I see the photos. And like this photo right here, it feels to me a lot like getting into that sense. I mean, it definitely seems inspired by hip hop culture. There's a lot of this like almost 90s-esque-ness to it, and the colors and the graphicness.
So yeah, again, this was before I started painting on the photographs, but I had come up with the idea that I wanted to do this project that was inspired by 1990s female hip hop artists. So like Queen Latifah and Missy Elliott, of course, because I felt like, you know, growing up, I listened to this music and I listened to these women, and there was just a variety of women for me to look up to as a young Black girl. And these women were all like confident, they were in charge of their spaces, and I wanted to bring that energy into my work. So this first series that we're gonna look at, and this right here where I was, you know, trying to capture that, was a series dedicated to 1990s female hip hop artists.
Well, that's awesome, and I really love it. But let's get into some of your more recent work.
Yeah, so this is when things came together. So I started to shoot in black and white. I still was like constructing like this digital background, like the bright yellow square that's digital, and then I printed it out, and then I just painted on top of it, and like, I did these things like a million times before something was like, there it is. And I felt like when I painted on top of the photographs, like my energy is in these photos.
Well, what I love about it, I mean, your use of color is phenomenal. It's just really, really awesome. It's so vibrant, bright, but the interaction with this kind of analog aesthetic to it, like where you have this kind of randomness, it's almost like taking the perfection of digital photography and roughing it up a little bit. Let's take a look at some of these other photos that you have.
Yeah.
Because when you start getting into like these kind of things where you're actually playing with the photo and interacting and adding elements that kind of like extend the photo is where like I think you really take off.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I am in this photo. You know, I just started thinking about different elements of my identity, and I think hair is a huge part of my identity. And
you have lovely hair, by the way.
Thank you. I wanted to find different ways to express that without just drawing hair. And so I thought about putting my handprints into the photo, and I felt like it really worked. And it also like creates this new design, like even like the little bit of space in the middle, and I really liked it. And
it's your fingerprints. It's like your identity, like literally, it's your identity, like inside of the photo. How did you find your models? Are these all friends of yours, or did you like put out a casting call for individuals?
Sometimes some of the women are friends. Sometimes I find women on Instagram. I'm like, oh, she looks so cool. So I'm just like up in their direct messages, like, would you model for this art series that I'm working on? And I try to find women that really have the same energy as what I want the project to be, so that, you know, they would want to be a part of the project. Right. And so in this, I was looking for women that kind of embody that same spirit of 1990s female hip hop artists.
Right, that's awesome. You brought some of your new work also. Let's take a look at some of this stuff, because wow, this is awesome.
Thank you. So this work is from my series called Represent. And so with my older work, I think I used the 90s hip hop theme to really express myself and to really be like a starting point for me to express myself. And so with this work, I came up with these symbols. Like all of these symbols have different meanings. And I mean, whether it be like self-care or empowerment. And I'm really like creating this space for women to feel respected and loved and
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like everything about this, like the color and the shape and the pose, and it's really great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
What's the current like goal with these? Are you just putting out another show, or?
Yeah, like I'm going to continue to create new work and to show the work. And I've done, like just recently, I've done some things where I've shot like editorially, and then I did the paint strokes digitally instead of manually. And so I want to do both. You know, I want to take this style and apply it to different things.
Right. And I forgot to mention, we're both wearing your shirt right now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I love being twins.
Yes,
That's
I do
really
too.
Cool.
It's so cool. Yeah, I just like to put my images on things, and I like to make things, and I'm interested in fashion. And I felt like this, like I had taken this picture of these 3 different women with their fists up, and I just thought it would be perfect on a shirt. The image is printed on the shirt, and then I hand painted on top.
Wow. Oh, so this is literally, each one's unique?
Yeah, each one is unique, yeah. So it has to be
awesome.
Hand washed, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I will
Just
hand
so
wash
you know.
it. Thank you, and thank you very much. And again, thank you so much for coming by the show. It was really awesome having you here. And thanks a lot, everybody out there, for coming out and joining us on another episode of Make It Photography. We'll see you next time.